Captain Nara pressed her hand against the cold metal wall of her ship as it shook violently. The Starseeker had been drifting through space for hours after her jump drive broke down. Red warning lights flashed across the control room, and her crew moved quickly between the blinking machines. "Where are we?" she asked her navigation officer, Kale. His blue skin had turned pale as he stared at the star charts on his screen. "Captain, I think we made a terrible mistake," Kale whispered. His voice was shaking. "These star patterns. We're in Sector 7 Alpha." The words hit Nara like ice water. Every child in the galaxy learned about Sector 7 Alpha in school. It was the place where ships went to die. For 300 years, no vessel that entered this region of space had ever returned. The Galactic Council had marked it on every star map with a simple warning: Forbidden Zone, no entry. Most spacers called it the human grave, because the last known ship to disappear there had been the Earth colony vessel Endurance. That was 50 years ago. Since then, the sector had been completely empty, a dead zone in space that every intelligent species avoided. Nara's engineer, Vex, looked up from his repair work. "Captain, the jump drive is completely broken. We cannot leave this place quickly. It will take at least 6 hours to fix." 6 hours, Nara repeated. Every story she had heard about this sector involved ships vanishing within minutes. Strange energy readings. Crews found dead with looks of pure terror on their faces. Psychic storms that could tear apart the minds of any thinking being. "Run. A full sensor sweep," she ordered. "I want to know what killed all those ships." Kale worked at his station, his fingers moving across the control panels. After several minutes, he looked up with confusion. "Captain, the sensors show something." "Impossible." "What do you mean?" "There is a ship out there, a big one, and it is moving." Nara felt her heart stop. "A ship? What kind of ship?" "It appears to be human design. Very large, colony class. But that cannot be right. Humans have been gone from this sector for decades." "Show me." The main screen flickered to life, displaying the dark emptiness of space. Then Kyle adjusted the view, and Nara saw something that made her question her own eyes. A massive vessel drifted through the void, its hull gleaming with fresh metal. Lights dotted its surface in neat patterns. It looked alive, active, maintained. "That ship is at least 2 kilometers long," Vex said, reading his instruments. "Colony. Class, just like Kale said. But look at these readings. It has full power. Life support systems are running. There are thousands of life signs aboard." "Life signs?" Nara stared at the screen. "Human life signs?" "Yes, Captain. The ship is full of humans. They are alive. This was impossible." Nara had studied the records. Every species that tried to travel through Sector 7 Alpha went insane within hours. The psychic energy in this region was so strong it could drive entire crews to madness. Some ships were found with their crews dead, their faces frozen in screams. Others simply vanished completely. "Are you sure our sensors are working correctly?" she asked. Vex double-checked his readings. "All systems are functioning normally, Captain. That ship is real, and it is full of living humans." Nara made a decision. That would change everything. "Send them a message, standard first contact protocol." "Captain, are you sure? What if they are dangerous? What if the stories about this sector are true? The stories say this place kills everyone who enters, but we are still alive, and so are they. Send the message." Kale activated the communication system. "Unknown human vessel, this is Captain Nara of the Zalari exploration ship Starseeker. Please respond." They waited in silence. Minutes passed. Then the speakers crackled to life. "Starseeker, this is Captain Minho Kim of the colony ship New Sol. Welcome to our little corner of space. Are you having technical difficulties?" The voice was calm, friendly, and completely normal. Nara looked at her crew in amazement. "They sound like they live here," she whispered. "Captain Kim," she said into the microphone, "you need to evacuate this sector immediately. This region is extremely dangerous. No ship should be here." There was a pause. Then Captain Kim replied, "Dangerous? I am not sure what you mean. We have been traveling through this area for months. It is the quietest, most peaceful space route we know. Perfect for families and children. Would you like to come aboard? We can help repair your ship. Nara felt like the universe had turned upside down. The most feared region in known space was home to a thriving human community. They were not just surviving in the deadly void. They were treating it like a peaceful highway. Prepare the shuttle, she told her crew. We are going to visit our new neighbors. As their small craft approached the massive human ship, Nara wondered what other secrets this forbidden sector might hold. She had come here by accident, expecting to die. Instead, she had found something that would shake the foundations of everything. The galaxy believed about the dark spaces between the stars. The shuttle bay doors of the new Sol opened with a soft hiss, and Nara stepped into what looked like a normal, busy spaceport. Human workers moved cargo containers while children ran between the walkways, laughing and playing games. The air smelled of cooking food and machine oil, just like any other colony ship she had visited. Captain Minho Kim waited for her with a warm smile. He was a tall man with kind eyes and graying hair. Behind him stood his senior officers, all looking curious but not afraid. Nara had expected to find frightened survivors hiding in dark corners. Instead, she found a community that seemed perfectly at home. "Welcome aboard," Minho said, shaking her hand in the human custom. "It has been a long time since we had alien visitors. Most ships avoid this area completely." "Captain Kim," Nara said carefully, "do you understand where you are? This is Sector 7 Alpha. The Galactic Council has marked it as a death zone. Every species in the galaxy fears this place." Minho looked confused. "Death zone? We call this the Quiet Corridor. It is one of the safest space routes we know. No pirate attacks, no territorial disputes, no busy shipping lanes, just peaceful, empty space." Dr. Una Park, the ship's chief scientist, joined the conversation. She was a young woman with bright eyes and an eager expression. "Captain Nara, may I ask what makes this region dangerous for other species? Our instruments show nothing unusual." Nara struggled to find simple words to explain something so terrible. "The space here is filled with psychic energy. It attacks the minds of all thinking beings. Most crews go insane within hours. Some die from the mental trauma. Others simply disappear." "Psychic energy?" Dr. Park looked fascinated rather than frightened. "We have never detected anything like that. Our telepathic sensors are quite advanced." "You have telepathic sensors?" Nara asked. "Of course. Standard equipment on all human ships. But they show nothing here except empty space. Very quiet, very calm, empty space." Minho led them through the ship's corridors. Nara saw families eating dinner together, students attending classes, workers maintaining the ship's systems. Everything looked normal and happy. This was not how people behaved when surrounded by deadly psychic storms. "How long have you been in this sector?" Nara asked. "Our ship has been using this route for 15 years, Minho replied. "My daughter was born here during our first crossing. She is now 14 years old and has never known any other home." They entered the ship's observation deck, where large windows showed the stars outside. A group of human children pressed their faces against the glass, pointing at Nara's shuttle and chattering excitedly about meeting an alien. "Captain Kim," Nara said slowly, "what do you feel when you look out at this space?" Minho stood beside her at the window. "Peace," he said simply. "Complete peace. The space here feels empty, clean, like a quiet library or an empty cathedral. It is restful." Nara felt her world turning upside down again. What humans described as peaceful silence, her people experienced as screaming terror. The psychic storms that drove other species mad were completely invisible to human minds. Dr. Park brought them to her laboratory, where she showed Nara detailed scans of the surrounding space. "We have been studying this region for years," she explained. "The energy readings are unusual but not dangerous. They seem to form patterns, almost like a language." "A language?" Nara studied the readings on the screen. To her eyes, they looked like chaotic noise, The kind of psychic static that could kill a Zilari in minutes. Yes, very complex, very old. We think this space might have been important to some ancient civilization, but whoever they were, they are gone now. All we find are these energy patterns. Nara realized something incredible. Humans were not just surviving in the deadly zone. They were studying it like scientists. They were treating the most feared region in space like an interesting research project. Dr. Park, she said, what you call energy patterns, other species call psychic storms. They destroy minds. They kill people. But why do they not affect humans? Dr. Park asked. I do not know. No one knows. Humans are the only species that can enter this sector and live. Minho brought them to the ship's dining hall, where hundreds of humans were eating their evening meal. The room buzzed with normal conversation and laughter. Children played between the tables while their parents talked about work and family. This is our community, Minho said proudly. 3,000 people call this ship home. We have teachers, doctors, engineers, artists. We even have a small farm that grows fresh vegetables. Nara watched a human child run up to her and offer her a piece of fruit. The child smiled with pure innocence, completely unaware that she lived in the most dangerous place in the known galaxy. Captain Kim, Nara said quietly, your people may be the key to understanding this sector, but they may also be in more danger than you realize. What do you mean? If humans can survive here when no one else can, then humans can go places where no one else can follow. That might be exactly what this region was designed to do. Minho looked out at his peaceful community and wondered what secrets lay hidden in the quiet stars around them. Commander Junho Choi sat alone in his quarters aboard the New Soul, staring at ancient data files that Captain Nara had shared from the Galactic archives. The files were older than any civilization he knew about, written in languages that computer systems could barely translate. But the pictures and star maps told a story that made his hands shake. The room was dark except for the blue glow of holographic displays floating around his desk. Each display showed a different piece of the puzzle: star charts, energy readings, archaeological reports from dead worlds. Junho had been studying them for 3 days, trying to understand what Nara had discovered. A soft knock on his door interrupted his thoughts. Come in, he called. Dr. Yuna Park entered, carrying a cup of tea and looking as tired as he felt. Still working on the ancient files? She asked. Yuna, look at this. He pointed to a star map that showed their current location millions of years ago. This sector was not empty back then. It was the center of a huge civilization. She sat down beside him and studied the display. The predecessors? Yes. But look what happened to them. He changed the display to show energy readings from the same region. They did not die. They did not leave. They became something else. The new display showed waves of psychic energy flowing through space like ocean currents. But these were not natural energy patterns. They were organized, intelligent, purposeful. They transcended, Yuna whispered. They gave up their physical bodies and became beings of pure mental energy. Exactly. But why did they do it? And why did they stay in this one region of space? Junho activated another display, this one showing the galaxy's edge. Beyond the spiral arms of stars lay empty darkness, the void between galaxies where nothing lived. I think they were guarding something, he said. Look at these energy patterns. They form a barrier around the entire outer edge of our galaxy. Yuna studied the readings carefully. It is like a wall, a psychic wall surrounding everything we know. But walls are built to keep things out. What were the predecessors trying to keep away from our galaxy? They worked together through the night, analyzing data and comparing records. Slowly, a terrible picture began to form. The predecessors had not transcended because they wanted to. They had done it because they had to. The next morning, Junho called a meeting with Captain Minho and the senior officers. They gathered in the ship's main conference room, where he projected his findings on the large wall screen. The psychic storms that other species fear are not random, he began. They are the consciousness of the predecessors, still alive after millions of years, still guarding our galaxy. Captain Minho leaned forward. Guarding it from what? From whatever lives in the void between galaxies. The predecessors found something out there, something so dangerous that they sacrificed their entire civilization to keep it away. Dr. Park activated another display. We analyzed the energy patterns more carefully. They are not just barriers. They are messages, warnings. The predecessors are trying to tell us something. What kind of warnings? Asked Tae-hyun Lim, the ship's engineer. Stay away from the deep dark. Do not go beyond the galaxy's edge. Something is waiting there. Navigator So Young Nam checked her star charts. But Captain, our deep space exploration, ships have been going beyond the galaxy for months. The Hanyang and 3 other vessels are already out there. Junho felt his blood turn cold. They need to come back. Now. Why? Minho asked. What could be so dangerous? Think about it, Junho said. Every alien species that enters this sector goes insane from the psychic energy. But humans feel nothing. We can walk through the predecessor consciousness like it does not exist. That is good, is it not? Taehyun said. It means we are safe. No, Yuna said, understanding dawning in her eyes. It means we can go where the barriers cannot stop us. If the predecessors built these walls to keep something out and we can walk through the walls, then we can accidentally let the wrong things in, Junho finished. The room fell silent as everyone understood the implications. Humanity's immunity to psychic interference was not a blessing, it was a responsibility. They were the only species that could maintain the ancient barriers, but they were also the only species that could accidentally breach them. We need to contact the Galactic Council, Minho said. And tell them what? That we have been living inside their worst nightmare for 15 years? That our exploration ships might have already made contact with something the predecessors died to keep away? Before anyone could answer, the ship's communication system activated. A voice crackled through the speakers. Captain Woo Jin Park of the exploration vessel Hanyang. New Seoul, this is emergency transmission. We have made contact with entities in the deep void. They know about our galaxy. They have been testing the barriers for centuries, looking for a way through. The message cut to static, then continued. The barriers are weakening. Whatever the predecessors were keeping out, it knows we are here now, and it is coming. Junho looked around the conference room at the frightened faces of his colleagues. Humanity had stumbled into the role of cosmic guardians, but they might already be too late to prevent the very catastrophe they were meant to stop. The emergency council meeting on the planet Zalara had never seen such chaos. Representatives from 43 different species filled the great assembly hall, their voices creating a storm of panic and anger. Captain Nara stood at the center, podium, trying to explain her discovery while alien delegates shouted questions and demands. You are telling us that humans have been living in the forbidden sector for decades? Asked Ambassador Crix, his tentacles waving in agitation. The region we have feared for centuries? Yes, Nara replied. And they are not just surviving. They are thriving. Building colonies, raising families, treating it like peaceful space. This is impossible, shouted Representative Vorth from the back of the hall. Our scientists have proven that Sector 7 Alpha destroys all intelligent minds. No species can survive there. Except humans, Nara said quietly. The hall fell silent for a moment. They experience the psychic storms as complete silence. What drives us insane makes them feel peaceful. Admiral Zek of the Galactic Defense Force stood up. Captain Nara, are you certain of these facts? If humans can survive in the forbidden sector, they represent a potential threat to galactic security. They are not a threat, Nara insisted. They do not even understand why other species avoid the region. But there is something else. Something more dangerous. She activated the holographic display, showing the ancient predecessor data that Commander Junho had analyzed. The psychic storms are not natural phenomena. They are the consciousness of an ancient race called the predecessors. They transcended physical form to create barriers protecting our galaxy from something in the void beyond. Protecting us from what? Asked Ambassador Thyra. We do not know yet. But human exploration ships have already gone beyond the barriers. They are making contact with entities that the predecessors died to keep away. The hall erupted in panic. Again. Several delegates demanded immediate military action against humanity. Others called for the complete isolation of human space. Ambassador Crix pounded his ceremonial staff for order. "We must contain the humans immediately," Admiral Zek declared. "If they can breach the ancient barriers, they could doom us all." "It may already be too late," Nara warned. Meanwhile, in the deep void beyond the galaxy's edge, Captain Wu Jin Park of the exploration vessel Hanyang stared at his instrument readings in growing horror. His ship had been investigating strange signals for 3 weeks, following traces of ancient predecessor technology into the darkness between stars. "Captain," called Lieutenant Heiwan Seo from the communication station, "we are receiving another transmission from the entities we contacted yesterday. Put it through," Wu Jin ordered, though every instinct told him to turn his ship around and flee. The voice that came through the speakers was not quite sound and not quite thought. It spoke directly into their minds, cold and patient, and infinitely old. "Small builders of metal and flesh," it said, "you have opened the way at last. Your barriers grow weak. Your guardians grow old. We have waited so long to taste your warm galaxy again." "Again?" Wu Jin whispered. "You have been in our galaxy before?" "Long ago, before the predecessors locked us away. We fed on the light of 1 billion stars until they stopped us. But now you have come to us, little humans. You who walk through their barriers like they do not exist." Science Officer Min Ho Jung looked up from his readings. "Captain, I am detecting massive movement in the void. Something huge is approaching our position." Through the view screen, they could see shapes moving in the darkness. Things larger than planets, older than civilizations, hungry for the light of living worlds. "You cannot return to your galaxy now," the entity continued. "You have seen us. You know we exist. Your barriers cannot keep us out if one of your own has already crossed to our side." Back on the New Sol, Commander Junho received the emergency transmission from Captain Wu Jin with growing dread. The exploration ship was trapped beyond the barriers, surrounded by entities that had been waiting millions of years for exactly this opportunity. "All human ships in the deep void, this is New Sol," he broadcast on all channels. "Return to galaxy space immediately. Do not make any further contact with unknown entities." But the damage was already done. 3 more exploration vessels reported contact with the beings from the void. Each contact made the ancient barriers weaker, like cracks spreading through a cosmic wall. Captain Minho called an emergency meeting with his senior staff. "The Galactic Council is demanding that we evacuate Sector 7 Alpha," he announced. "They are sending military fleets to force us out if necessary." "They do not understand," Dr. Unipark said. "If we leave, who will maintain the barriers? Who will guard against what is coming?" Navigation Officer Dongmin Ko studied the tactical displays. "Captain, I am detecting alien fleet movements at the sector boundaries. At least 200 ships from multiple species. They are preparing for military action." "And what about our people beyond the barriers?" asked Engineer Taehyun Lim. "Do we abandon them?" Minho looked out at the stars through the observation deck windows. Somewhere out there, human crews were trapped in the void with ancient horrors that wanted to devour the galaxy. Behind them, alien fleets were massing to drive humanity away from the only region where they could stand guard against the darkness. "Send a message to the Galactic Council," he ordered. "Tell them we will not abandon our position. Tell them that someone has to watch the boundaries, and we are the only ones who can." The final confrontation was about to begin, with humanity caught between the galaxy they were trying to protect and the void they were meant to guard against. Dr. Yuna Park stood in the deepest archive chamber of the New Sol, surrounded by holographic displays showing genetic code that was older than human civilization. Her hands trembled as she compared the ancient predecessor data with samples of human DNA. After 3 sleepless days of analysis, she had found the impossible truth. "Commander Junho," she called over the communication system. "You need to see this immediately." Junho arrived within minutes, followed by Captain Minho and the senior staff. They gathered around Dr. Park's workstation, where streams of genetic information flowed across multiple screens. What did you find? Minho asked. We are not natural, Dr. Park said quietly. Human beings did not evolve immunity to psychic interference. We were designed to have it. She pointed to specific sections of the genetic code. These markers in our DNA, they are artificial. Someone modified our ancestors thousands of years ago, specifically to create minds that could resist psychic attacks. The predecessors, Junho whispered. Yes. Before they transcended into pure energy, they visited Earth. They changed early humans, giving us the ability to walk through psychic barriers. They created us to be their replacements. Captain Minho stared at the genetic displays. You are saying we were made to be guardians? Not just guardians, we were designed to maintain their cosmic barrier system. Every human who enters Sector 7 Alpha strengthens the psychic walls around the galaxy. We are living components of their defense network. The revelation hit them like a physical blow. Humanity's journey to the stars had not been random exploration. It had been a species following its programmed purpose, drawn to the very region where they were needed most. Meanwhile, at the edge of Sector 7 Alpha, Admiral Kyung-Soo Lee coordinated the human defense fleet as alien armadas approached from 3 directions. His flagship Unity hung in space alongside 47 other human vessels, all that stood between the galaxy and the entities waiting in the void beyond. Admiral, reported Communications Officer Jin A. Kim, the Galactic Council fleet is demanding our immediate withdrawal. They have given us 1 hour to evacuate the sector. What about our people trapped beyond the barriers? Admiral Lee asked. Captain Wu Jin and the other exploration crews are still surrounded by the void entities. They cannot return without leading those things directly to the galaxy. Admiral Lee looked at the tactical display showing hundreds of alien ships closing in on their position. The Council forces included the most advanced military vessels from dozens of species, all united in their determination to remove humanity from the Forbidden Zone. Open a channel to the Council fleet, he ordered. The main screen flickered to life, showing Admiral Zek of the Galactic Defense Force. Behind him, representatives from multiple species looked on with expressions of fear and anger. Admiral Lee, Zek began, you have one final chance to withdraw peacefully. If your ships do not leave Sector 7 Alpha within the hour, we will use force to remove you. Admiral Zek, Lee replied calmly, with respect, you do not understand what you are asking. If we leave this sector, the ancient barriers will collapse. The entities waiting in the void will pour into our galaxy like a flood. That is not our concern. Your species has already compromised galactic security by making contact with these entities. The Council has voted. Humanity must be contained. Then the Council has doomed us all. Before Admiral Zek could respond, Dr. Park's voice came through on an emergency broadcast to all ships in the sector. This is Dr. Yuna Park aboard the New Soul. I am transmitting genetic data to all vessels. Humanity was created by the predecessors to maintain the galactic barriers. We are not invaders or explorers who stumbled into this region by accident. We are the designated guardians of this galaxy. The transmission included detailed analysis showing how human DNA had been artificially modified to resist psychic interference. The evidence was overwhelming and impossible to deny. Admiral Zek stared at the data in shock. This cannot be real. It is real, Admiral Lee said. And it changes everything. You are not facing human expansion into forbidden territory. You are witnessing the activation of an ancient defense system that your own ancestors helped to create. The bridge of the exploration vessel Hanyang, Captain Wu Jin received the genetic data transmission with a mixture of wonder and sadness. Now he understood why his crew felt calm while surrounded by cosmic horrors that could destroy civilizations. Captain, reported Science Officer Minho Jung, the void entities are retreating. They seem to be responding to something. Through the view screen, they could see the massive shapes pulling back into the deeper darkness. The ancient horrors that had been pressing against the galaxy's barriers for millions of years were withdrawing, as if recognizing that their time had not yet come. They know. Wu Jin realized. They know the barriers are being reinforced. Back, in Sector 7 Alpha, Admiral Lee made the declaration that would echo through galactic history. Admiral Zek, representatives of the Galactic Council, hear me clearly. You are right. No one ventures into this void. That void belongs to humanity. And we will keep it that way. Not as conquerors, but as the guardians we were born to be. One by one, the alien fleets began to withdraw. They had come to force humanity out of the forbidden sector, but instead they had discovered that humanity belonged there more than anyone else in the galaxy. Captain Nara, now serving as liaison aboard the Joint Defense Station Harmony, watched the human ships take their permanent positions along the cosmic barrier. Her people had finally understood that humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their courage. It was their unique ability to stand guard in places where no one else could survive. The galaxy was safe, protected by the children of Earth who had found their true purpose among the stars.